So before we do anything else, we have to tip a dread or do a nod to something that happened yesterday. Yesterday was our Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. show.
Yeah.
And there has been so much positive response to that show that I think we just need to tip a dread or a nod to Jamie Hammer.
Sure. Oh, my gosh.
Who put this show together yesterday, and it was people from everywhere have been emailing and saying it was amazing, it was this, was that, and, you know, it was spectacular. So thank you, Jamie. Now, here's something that's totally different. Today is the third impeachment trial in American history, and it's set to begin. People are already crying foul. Senate Republicans want to pass rules giving both sides 24 hours over 2 days to make opening arguments, and also want to keep possible testimony from National Security Advisor John Bolton behind closed doors. So how do you do this when everyone said, well, it's got to be, we've got to see what's going on. It can't be behind closed doors. You can't have quiet testimony. We have to see it. And everybody's saying, well, you know, you can't do this. I mean, if there's nothing, then let the trial go on. Prove that the Democrats are as dumb as you keep saying they are, and as ridiculous as you keep saying. Prove it. That's all you have to do. I mean, this is what you said you wanted. Everybody said they wanted to get the information. So now we want to get the information. Now y'all go, well, not that information.
Right.
We want a different information.
It's unprecedented to keep these documents back. That's the, and the new witnesses also. And you know, 69% of Americans want to see new witnesses and want to see documents. But that doesn't seem to impact, Moscow Mitch at all.
Yeah.
Because what is he, you know, I'm curious, what is he hiding? You know, everyone who's defending Trump seems to be hiding something. You know,
he has something
you notice that? I mean, his two lawyers, Dershowitz and Ken Starr, I don't know what they're hiding. They did defend Epstein. I'll just say that. They defended Epstein. I'm not saying they were involved with Epstein, but it seems like there's something very gross about all these people, that they have something to hide.
But what about the law? I mean, where are we at with the law?
Was also involved with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean,
Bill Clinton,
it's bad on all
who's
sides
not in
of
the
Jeffrey
picture
Epstein,
right now. But I'm saying the people who are in the picture right now. Weird.
It just seems to me, to Joy's point, if 69% of Americans want to hear the evidence, want a fair trial, want a real trial, and these senators are supposed to represent the people, why aren't they representing the will of the majority of Americans?
No,
that's the first thing, right? We vote them into office, they work for us. But the second thing is, I mean, there is a legal consensus, really. Virtually every constitutional lawyer says this is just not how it's supposed to be done. So I don't really think there's any precedent for doing it this way.
A lot of Americans want to know, you know, because we have a platform, but a lot of people want to know what they can do. Because a lot of my friends feel very powerful and very depressed and upset. And I say, call your senators. Call Susan Collins of Maine, Romney of Utah, call Murkowski of Alaska, call Cory Gardner of Colorado, and Lamar Alexander of Tennessee. Call them and speak your mind. That's how you become part of the democratic process.
Right. Because they only need 51 votes.
You call those
They need
people,
51 votes.
and the whole thing will change around if they decide that we need new witnesses and documents. It's only the will of the people that will do it, though, nothing else.
Right.
well, I mean, this new CNN poll that came out said only half of Americans said that the Senate should vote to convict Trump and remove him from office. 51% say they should, 45% said they shouldn't vote against conviction and removal. So a little more than half want him to. I would never underestimate Mitch McConnell. He's a really shrewd, long-term political animal, and I think he knows what he's doing. I think the politics of this are a lot of these candidates, we're going to get to it, but the New York Times endorsed 2 women for president. They're both going to be pulled off the campaign trail because of this. So politically, it will ultimately end up hurting Democrats. And I said to you on the show, Whoopi, which you corrected me because I don't want to get in trouble again, but if you take this shot, don't miss, and please, I mean that metaphorically for the 10,000th time. I think people thought I meant that literally. And I don't know, I was in Arizona all weekend, and I just don't think this is where the pulse of the American people are at. And I think that it's more about the election than it is about the impeachment trial.
But how does this cover up?
And I would focus on voting him out versus this.
Well, I agree with that, too, that we should vote him out. But how does this vindicate Trump when the American people see that there's a cover-up, that we haven't seen the real trial? I don't see that Trump gets vindicated, which is his greatest dream, is for us to say, you're okay, baby.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think ultimately, if the Republicans follow this course, if they are, you know, so adverse to the will of the American people, I think that ultimately it will affect the Republicans, because when you go to the ballot box, are you going to vote for that senator that did not do your will? Are you going to put that person back in office? I don't think so.
Well, here's what's interesting. You know, everybody keeps saying this is going to be like the Clinton trial, you know, because what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yeah.
Impeachment is impeachment. It doesn't matter which side it is. If you need to be removed as president, people need to hear it. Now, I don't know if people are looking forward to removing a president, but I do believe that the American people, regardless of who they voted for, really do care that the process stays the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody wants to see this process usurped by, you know, people saying, I'm never going to do this. You can't do that when you're on a jury. You can't do that. You can't say, they don't let you be on the jury when you say, I've made up my mind, I don't need to hear anything. You can't do. Well, they're not getting away with it, but we keep talking. Listen, they haven't gotten away with it until they've gotten away with it.
All right, well, so far.
There's still going to be a vote today, I believe.
Yes.
Just got the
you know, but he may have the power, but the people will make the decision ultimately. That's what I'm trying to say. That's the bottom line. It's like whether the New York Times endorses somebody or this one, it doesn't matter. No one can tell you who to vote for. You have to do the work. And that's the bottom line. We'll be back.
Later, third-degree burn. Hillary Clinton unloads on Bernie Sanders in an unfiltered new documentary. How will this impact his campaign? This week, The View's Hot Topics are on fire.
Yes.
Plus, look who's coming to voice their